Welcome, Scorpio, to your Clash of the Malefics 28-year cycle deep dive video for the Ascendant, the Sun, or the Moon. Across the 19th or 20th of April this year, Mars, your traditional ruler, and Saturn, the planet of limitation, meet in an exact conjunction where they're unified in the sign of Aries for the first time since 1998. That's 28 long years ago. In traditional astrology, Saturn is said to be the greater malefic and can be unfortunate, whereas Mars is the lesser malefic, but it's very much about aggression and violence. Combined in the sign of Aries, which is the first of the zodiac, it is a sign which has a desire to make things happen quickly. But Saturn here is in its fall. It's its weakest position in the whole zodiac. So what we can encounter over the next week or so is an innate amount of frustration, irritation, and perhaps our emotions can even boil over if we feel blocked or inhibited in any way. But it is an aspect which can have some opportunities. I'm going to unpack all of this for you. By the end of the video, you'll have a clearer understanding around your energy, work, relationships, and finances. And you can also download my free workbook, which will tell you all about the mythology, the astronomy, the astrology, and the deeper understanding of this planetary aspect. Please stay with me for more. So on the screen, Scorpio, is the event chart for this year. And there's Mars, your traditional ruler, in that conjunction with Saturn. But the sixth house can be about our physical everyday world. Those routines, our obligations, responsibilities can be to do with our vitality. Mars in the sixth house can actually give you more stamina, but that stamina may be challenged by the cold, cool energy of Saturn. Saturn really doesn't like Aries. Aries is the sign at the very beginning of the whole zodiac. Saturn's much more to do with outcomes and consequences, being the ruler, the sole domiciliary ruler of the very traditional and worldly Capricorn and the co-regent of the progressive Aquarius. But in the mix is Mercury. And this is intriguing because if we go back to 1998, Mercury was in a conjunction with them then. But this time it's pretty well exact. So if there is something that you're thinking about to do with a change, the chances are you could be feeling a bit brittle. Mercury, I think, can control the nervous system in the sixth house. Maybe if you experience some headaches or migraines, or just feel quite on edge, it wouldn't be a surprise. That's quite a wired up combination. Now, if you wanted to do more exercise and get fitter and Saturn wasn't in the mix, fabulous for getting out there into the great outdoor and doing something a bit more active. But Saturn's saying to you, don't overdo it. So if you're trying to be virtuous at the moment, the sixth house, trying to start something afresh, Aries, you're thinking about perhaps your work, the sixth house, you're not enjoying the fact that there's a lot of demands, a nitpicker, a micromanager around you. Every single detail of what you do is scrutinized. There's no appreciation or respect at all. It could be that you could boil over with irritation, the sixth house. So one of the best ways to deal with sixth house energy is actually to widen the lens and don't just think of that particular set of influences. Because we just had the new moon in Aries in a combination with Chiron, if there are some health approaches which have or health circumstances which have really been tough for you, that may be something that you're already actively processing and thinking, how could I change things up a little bit? What could I let go of? What could I do more? What could I cut from scratch? Could I get rid of certain things that I'm eating, which I know are yummy but aren't really particularly beneficial? So we can be virtuous for sure, and we can use the desire of Mars to achieve that. It's just Saturn is going to be scrutinizing things, and there could be someone around you who's just watching, and it really can feel very aggravating if you feel they're being very pernickety on something that doesn't reflect that big picture. So The big picture asks you, don't get too caught up in that detail. Something is really on your mind in a repetitive way, and that could be Mercury. Try to release that a little bit and think about some other things. Now, I'm going to share the wider context of this event chart, but just let's nip back to 98. It's intriguing, because we do also have that Mercury conjunction. It's not quite as tight, but it was in retrograde. If you're a little bit older, what were you doing 28 years ago? Or as I have been sharing recently, about 7 1/3, 14.6, 21.9 years ago. Then we have obviously the Saturn return. What it is you take the progressed moon, 27 1/2, 28 years, add it to the Saturn return, 29 1/2, divide them by 2, and that's those big life units of 7 years. But whatever you were doing then, it may be that there was an echo, or there is an echo now, of what was going on. The moon then was in Gemini the same as this time, and the nodal axis was in the same signs, just flipped. So the nodes take 18.6 years to go through their cycle, 9.8 for the reverse. So we're one complete revolution and a half a revolution on from 28 years ago. Back to this year. What was going on there then that may be played out now? The USSR was really disintegrating, what is now known as the Russian Federation, and it's in the process, it seems to me, of going through the same thing, that its financial fabric is really coming unstuck because of the obsession with war. And of course, Mars is very much about war, but the sixth house is much more about health, people's welfare, citizens' welfare. The first sign of Aries is about our bodies. So intriguing, yeah? But also at that time, there was uncertainty in the Asian stock markets. And we've got that again now with what's going on in the Gulf. So there is some commonalities from then until now. But thinking about the wider chart, Pluto, your modern ruler, in a great link with the moon in Gemini. Now, the moon in Gemini is in Peregrine, doesn't really know what to do with itself because it likes to chat, chat, chat. But for you, it's in the 8th house, an echo of your sign. So that helps you to really think penetratively and emotionally about some of these practicalities that you may be challenged with, whether it is low vitality, whether it is a demanding job, whether it is your physical circumstances are not easy, whatever it is you're dealing with. Pluto and the moon are asking you to dive deep. And just know that Jupiter, the planet, is very much to do with buoyancy, but in Cancer, more of an echo of its Pisces vibe, which is about faith, asking you to keep thinking about that big picture. Whatever irritating details there are, however much someone's winding you up, know it can shift. It can shift by you doing what you can do to influence the situation, but also the sun is on the anaretic degree. It's going to be moving on the 20th into Taurus for Taurus season, and that is catching up with Venus at home, domiciled, and Uranus. So your relationships can actually pretty soon go through a very dynamic phase for the next month. So if you're in a tie of any kind that's not much fun, the chances of building new ones elsewhere are actually very strong. Now, I'm going to summarize those 4 areas of energy, work, relationships, and finances. But just to say, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscope reports. I've slashed them so you can buy one and get 3. Why? Because people are feeling a pinch. Second, because I want more people to enjoy the benefits of natal astrology. The life roadmap you pay for helps you to understand your life journey, the 12 months transits, the time ahead, and your when to do things. And the Draconic report helps you to understand more your soul or karmic journey. Please see below for more. Now, if you've yet to watch your Uranus 84-year cycle video, please see that on the left. If you've yet to watch your Aries new moon video on the right, And if you'd like to work with me one-to-one, please see my testimonials below. If you've yet to sign up for your free daily horoscope, fire to your device each morning, get your celestial pit stop early in the day, that's below, as is that workbook. So that's Mars conjunct Saturn, help you to navigate what can be a challenging influence around the astronomy, the astrology, the mythology, and a deeper understanding of the impact of that aspect. And to summarize, so as far as a job's concerned, if you're doing a job where you're very virtuous, you take it very seriously, you want to do your absolute best for people, but someone around you is extremely unappreciative and critical, just know you're going to need to be counting not just to 10 over the next week. You could really find that your anger is very close to the surface. If, however, there is something you can do to modify your approach to what you eat and drink and what you do for exercise and rest, this can be a time of breakthrough around your physical vitality. As far as your fortune is concerned, particularly around finances, Jupiter high in the sky is asking you to keep thinking big, but if opportunities come up, definitely scrutinize the detail, and most of all, don't rush any decisions which Mars could be tempting you to do. Relationships wise, with the sun about to move, I think you could be in for a surprisingly positive next 4 weeks. It's been a pleasure being with you, Scorpio. Thank you so much for joining me. Look forward to seeing you soon again.